Hey everybody, how's it going? Today is October 24th, 2019. This video is going to be a little different than most. I'm going to put my mug back on the screen, and we're going to mix it up a little bit, look at the live chat, do some live decoding. I also want to talk about some, what I think are kind of advancements. Some of them are recent, some of them are things we've been looking at for a while. But there's certain methods that I haven't really picked up on until recently, and it's always interesting after, how many years you can spend doing this where you're still learning and discovering new things. And some of my posts recently have contained a current theme when we're looking at news stories coming out of the national media. So we're going to talk about the consistency in some of this. So special what's up to Amy, Mark, Tyrone, Bobby, all you guys in the live chat currently. I guess what I want to focus on is that on October 12th, we had 3 big news stories, and all of them had remarkable similarities in how they were coded. Now, the date October 12th is interesting because it's written 10/12. And in numerology, we ignore the 0. So this is essentially a 112. And 112, a number invoking mathematics using the alphabetic order. The word mathematics equals 112. And then circle equals 112 in the reverse alphabetic order, where Z is 1 and A is assigned 26. So on this date, we got several big news stories, and 112 also, by the way, the alternate emergency dialing code in the United States, the primary emergency dialing code in Europe, from what I understand anyway. So on this date, you had the story from Fort Worth, Texas, where an officer shot and killed a woman through her window, doing some sort of welfare check or whatever. A confusing story, like always. Then we had the hotel collapse, the Hard Rock Hotel in New Orleans. On that same date, we had the disappearance of Camille Cupcake McKinney from a birthday party in Alabama. And all of these, as I always say, major news stories aligned with the numerology of the city and the mayor. Both the mayor's birth date, the date they took office, you find remarkable alignments with that date. And this applies in all 3 stories from the same date. Just today, I did a video on this car plunging from Indiana off of a parking structure at the Indianapolis City Market. And this also, remarkably, by the numbers. And it's almost as if there is some sort of formula behind this, or at least a consistent way in which we can identify significant dates on which there may be a news story emanating from a certain city. And ultimately, that's the goal, I think, is to... And that's why I've been doing these blog posts, is to try to best understand the methodology that's being used. Clearly, there's patterns we pick up on and things we see in the date numerology and whatever, but there's got to be something that can tell us on a certain date when a certain city or person might be in the news. And it takes a certain sizable database, certain analytics that I don't necessarily have all the skills to pull off. But I think with a big enough database, with the big enough cities, I can definitely pick some things out. So moving forward, we're going to start looking at that. But I want to get into how this works, and so when people are decoding, they can kind of glance at what I think is interesting to look for. All right, so recently we had this Fort Worth, and what's interesting is that the city of Fort Worth, again, talking about the date October 12th, 112, like mathematics of the circle, Fort Worth equals 143 using the alphabetic order. The word circle in Hebrew sums to 143. using the alphabetic order, circle equals 50. Betsy Price is the mayor of Fort Worth, and her name equals 50. Sworn into office on July 12th, 2011. That date had primary numerology of 50. Interesting stuff. Of course, this ran much deeper. It was exactly 99 months after she took office on October 12th. And not only is that 99 months, but that's also exactly 3,014 days, just like how pi is 3.14. Now, one thing I began doing recently, but it's been really interesting, is when you type in the name of the city and then mayor and then their common name. And call me crazy, and caveat, I've looked at techniques like this before. Remember, I did a lot of converting their name gematria to dates and measuring to those dates. And I think there are still riddles like that, but it's kind of something I abandoned for the large part because it gave a little too many methods. But there is something really interesting about this. And I point this out because we talk about the number 13 a lot, obviously. Big time number with the moon. Seems to be the primary ritual hoax code of sorts. But when you write out 130, this is the first number to have an ordinal value of 227. And we talk about how there's 360 degrees in a circle. If you divide 22 by 7, you get 3.14 on a calculator. And in Gematria, 22 divided by 7 equals 314. Again, back to the first three digits of pi. This woman was in office for 3,014 days. And I find it interesting, too. This is really cool, actually, that 3,014 days is exactly 99 months. And here we're talking about the number 13 being the only one that sums to 99 in ordinal. So she's in office for exactly 99 months and 0 days. And we get the death of a Tatiana or a Tashiana Jefferson, whose name sums to 990 in Sumerian. The word pi equals 69 in Jewish gematria. The mayor was 69 years old. She was also 740 months old when she was sworn in. And in Greek, the other language I have on the calculator, certainly what I believe are the most significant in gematria, circle equals 740 over there. So clear circle ritual over here with this mayor. Then that brings us on the same date we had the collapse in Louisiana. Using the alphabetic order, New Orleans, Louisiana equals 227. Hard Rock Hotel New Orleans has the same gematria, 357-123, as New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell, 357-123. The address of this building, and I did videos on all these, and I don't want to dive in too deeply, but basically, we had another obvious riddle here with the mathematics of the circle. New Orleans also with matching gematria with total eclipse, so this was lined up really nicely with the eclipse. Finally, we had the story of the disappearance of Camille Cupcake McKinney, and Birmingham Mayor Randall Woodfin sums to 314 in the alphabetic order. This is the mayor of Birmingham, Alabama. And it's interesting. Birmingham Mayor equals 777 in Jewish gematria, the first number, without the word and to sum to 314. And then Birmingham sums to 216, just like mathematics of the circle. But perhaps what struck me right away is when you type in Birmingham Mayor Randall Woodfin. In Jewish Gematria, you get this 2002. This guy was 2002 weeks old the day before this news story took place. And then the little girl's name, Camille Cupcake McKinney, is what they're calling her. Notice how that sums to 1414. Well, 2002 weeks is 14,014 days. So it's just wild how this all works out. Camille McKinney, by the way, 67, just like the name of the mayor. Randall Woodfin, 67. And then Camille McKinney equals 1012, which was the date. So I didn't do a video on this one, but I do have a blog post. And I'll link these all below after the video is done. And I just completed another video talking about the numerology of the Indianapolis, Indiana car plunge, where this car mysteriously drove off of the 4th floor at a parking garage. And there was a clear riddle there with the mayor. So, pretty wild stuff. Another thing we're looking at recently, too, is great conjunctions. These great conjunctions are definitely important. And I did a video recently on the death of Elijah Cummings, which, you know, when you measure to his birthday, you realize there's a Saturn ritual. And Saturn is, of course, one of two planets, along with Jupiter, that when they become conjunct, you know, therein lies the Great Conjunction, which is about, I think, once every, 20 years? So we talk about how rare total eclipses are, about 7 per decade. Well, a Great Conjunction is about 1 in 15 times less frequent. So just taking a look at the chat here, briefly. We definitely want to do some live decoding as well. Bobby just put up a new video on Venus and how it relates to the 49ers game on Halloween with Jimmy Garoppolo. Very, very interesting astrological riddle. And I really find that when you mix astrology with gematria, you find some of the most amazing things. So and Bobby says the next great conjunction after this coming one in 2020 is on Halloween in 2040. So that's interesting stuff too. Certainly something to think about. This coming Halloween will be 21 years exactly before the following great conjunction. So, you know, certainly eclipses are where it's at, but those great conjunctions, like I said, really, really rare. Miss Mildred down in the chat asking about the Christian rapper kid death. I think I know who you're talking about. You're probably talking about TobyMac's kid, right? So let's get into that, because I kind of glanced at it, but I didn't really decode much before this video, so so let's get into this. TobyMac's son, 21-year-old, and TobyMac, a Grammy-winning Christian hip-hop artist. And just because he's a Christian artist doesn't mean he hasn't signed some sort of deal. I mean, who knows what's going on at the top? You really hope to think that's not what's happening, but something's going on for sure. You know, it's pretty rare for a 21-year-old to simply just drop dead. He's just found dead at his home. Possible he had some sort of drug problem. I don't really know anything about this. So his name is Truett McKeon. I'm guessing he doesn't have a wiki page. So we got TobyMac's wiki page. Do we have a birth date for Truett McKeon? September 4th, 1998. So this guy's a rapper. TobyMac is a Christian rapper. I guess this guy's kind of along the same lines. It says he was found dead in Nashville, so seems like we should probably look at the numerology of Nashville, too, given what we've learned, and just see if there's something there, too. But we're definitely going to primarily look at Truett McKeon's numerology, the numerology of TobyMac. Truett Foster McKeon. Did you catch that? He's got a full name there, Truett Foster McKeon, so we're going to look at that, too. Okay. Truett McKeon. 164 ordinal. 214. Nothing really popping here. The 79 is the first number that stands out because this is the gematria of murder. 79. And I just have the primary 6 ciphers that I teach in all my videos open, by the way. I do use the S exception occasionally, but you know that'll come up if necessary. And then this is the son of TobyMac. And there you go, TobyMac 79. TobyMac does have the 38 too, which is death, killing, murder. Death 38. Okay, so Truett Foster McKeon is his real name. His full name, I should say. And here we get a 1018. This is interesting because in this cipher, this Jewish gematria cipher, based in the Latin alphabet, certainly the most significant outside of the base ciphers, without a doubt, the word death equals 118, just like how, death 38, like TobyMac. The word homicide also, homicide, 118 in the same cipher. $247. Crucifixion code 247. There could be something there. What about this 113 is always interesting because, this is what I call the number of deception. Perjury, dishonest, not true, not honest, fiction, illusions, disinfo, politics, a lot more. A lot of these equal 113. In fact, I think in my most recent post, yes, I mentioned how... wow, okay. So this kid died on the 23rd, right? Wednesday. So his death was 113 days after the eclipse. Truett Foster McKeon, 113, dead 113 days after the eclipse. So already there's a 113 riddle. Like I said, in my last post, we had the Indianapolis City Market, 113 days after the eclipse, a car plunged from the Indianapolis City Market. Parking garage car plunge 113 in Gematria. Mainstream broadcasting, bullshit, politics, illusions. All these words, 113, the number of dishonesty. So we'll look at TobyMac's birthday. I don't think we've looked at his birthday yet, though. 9/4/1998. Oh my goodness, look at this. Today, the date of this news, look how old he is. Wow. So on the date that this story broke, I already told you how his name equals 113, and he dies 113 days after the eclipse, and look how old he would have been today. Exactly 1,103 weeks old. Wow. What's going on there? Whew. Okay, so he's got that September 4th birthday. Ritual human sacrifice has, 9/4. All right, so let's plug this back in and see if anything else pops. Maybe measure to his next birthday. That's right. This is also 317 days before his next birthday, which is the word lie flipped upside down. Shout out to Zenith as always, which is literally the word lie flipped upside down. So this is why live decodes are good, because you just pop into this stuff and it just aligns up for you. Like, you barely have to try. So I'm just jumping back in on the chat here. Yeah, must be randomness, right, guys? Must be random. Marion, I don't take calls because I don't really have a way to take calls. All I have is my personal phone, and I'm not about to give out my personal phone number. Lord knows what that could become. Yeah, I know a lot of people always want other ciphers on the website, and again, I mean, not in any rush to do that. I think the work kind of speaks for itself. Again, it's about learning more about these ciphers that we know are important and make sense. So let's continue this decode, see if anything else pops out. TobyMac. Pretty interesting that he just had a birthday the day before his son died. He was 55 years old. Huh. So he turned 55 the day before his son died. We know the word sacrifice does have the value of 55. And look at today's date numerology. Again, the date of the news story is always important. And here we have a date numerology of 73. October 24th, 10 plus 24 plus 20 plus 19, 73 and 46. This is our sacrifice numerology, 7346. And the day before this, TobyMac turns 55. So sacrifice also 55. Toby McKeon equals 122, just like his 1022 birthday. October 22nd. Interesting. In reverse, he's got the 202. We talked about the 50 with the circle. That's nothing huge there. Kevin Michael McKeon is his real name. 107 does have the ritual sacrifice. So ritual sacrifice, also 73, like the date numerology. What I also wanted to put out, they keep mentioning how this was in Nashville. Did Bobby leave a link on Nashville? Yeah, Tennessee turned 223 years old this year. So we'll keep an eye out for that. Well, there you go. Nashville, Tennessee, 73 in reduction. Just like our sacrifice number, that's the date numerology. So there's, I mean, if you want to say there's a sacrifice riddle here, there's absolutely one case to be made. Nashville, Tennessee, also an abbreviated 46, just like 4662, like sacrifice. That number was also in the date numerology. So TobyMac today, 20,090 days old. And this would have applied yesterday too, if you include the end date. Eclipse sacrifice equals 290. And this in itself I would not think was really significant, but Christ, 290. And we know that this code built around the crucifixion of Christ, crucifixion darkness. So that could be relevant. You also have the 289, which is 17 squared. Freemasonry founded in 1717. Kind of interesting as well. But really being 55 years, I mean, that's pretty interesting. Look at Toby, 46 and 62 also. Oh, I wanted to look at the number 551. Nothing terribly interesting about that. All right, I want to look at Nashville. Wikipedia doesn't have an incorporation date, nor is there an anniversary listed. What do you say, Google? All right, just 1806 for Nashville. I mean, we can't really do anything with the year, unless you want to say, oh, measure from the first of the year. I'm not really buying that. Mayor John Cooper, and again, this isn't the type of thing that would necessarily be aligned. If there was a big shooting or something in the city, or some bizarre event like we talked about in the first part of the video with these blog posts, this would make a little more sense, but it still wouldn't surprise me if something really pops out. So the mayor had just turned 63 years old on the 200. Oh, he was born on the 289th day of the year. Huh. TobyMac was 20,089 days old. Could be relevant. Not there yet. John Cooper, 56. Isn't that the name of Truett McKeon, 56? Yeah. So the mayor the mayor has the same gematria as the name of the guy who died here in this story, 56. Nashville Mayor John Cooper, 122. Remember, what was it? Toby McKeon, wasn't it? 122? October 22nd birthday for Toby McKeon. No shit. Mayor John Cooper. Mayor John Cooper, 214. Truett McKeon, 214. So we have multiple alignments with the name of the mayor and the name of the person in the story. 214 and 56. He took office on September 28th. That's pretty recent. That was less than a month ago. 25 days? TobyMac equals 25? This happened 25 days or 3 weeks, 4 days after he took office? Death equals 25. Oops. And we talked about the death riddle, 38 and 118, already discussed. What was 34? 34, the murder number, of course, but it looks like we have none others. I thought I saw one. Nope. The name Cooper equals 72. This kid died on a date with 72 numerology. Oh, look at this. Okay, so now I get it. So this guy was born. Remember, I pointed out. All right, we need to go back to TobyMac. Born October 22nd, 1964. And this is what I'm saying. There's always some bizarre riddle with the mayor. I don't get it, but something always pops. So Toby equals 17, right? 17 squared is 289. On the date his son died, he was 20,089 days old. And then you have the mayor of Nashville, the city where his son died, who took office on the date September 29th, which is written 28/9. This guy was born in a leap year on the 289th day of a leap year. Huh. 17, by the way, also the value of kill, 17. In Hebrew, kill is 19, just like Toby in reverse. Toby equals 46, 62. Nashville, Tennessee, 46, 62. Huh. This is all pretty interesting, especially when you consider... What did we point out? We had a 122. Yeah. Nashville Mayor John Cooper summing to 122, just like Toby McKeon, whose birthday is 10/22. So a lot of alignments there to discuss, no doubt. But that 113 riddle is certainly the biggest. Shoot, I might have fallen behind on chat here. Okay. Anyone, do we have any other stories that might pop out? We got some time yet. I figure I'd probably go about an hour today. And we're barely a half hour in at this point. About less than 40 minutes. And yeah, guys, I do believe I'm in live chat. I mean, I'm certainly live. All right, so we're checking out the news, and it's just difficult to look at CNN sometimes. Obviously, this is a story I would have looked at right away to try to decode. When you talk about Donald Trump and all the stuff going on in office there, I just cringe. It's just hard for me to to look at anything there anymore and feed my energy into that. A high school athlete ran her personal best but was disqualified for her hijab. So here, this is an interesting story. Probably one that wouldn't be on the national media if it wasn't by the numbers. Perhaps something that was even by design. And this would be a challenge for me because I don't really decode a whole lot of stories that have to do with Islam or anything. So why not take a look at it? Maybe expose me for the terrible decoder I really am. All right. All right, guys. Okay. Right off the bat, alphabetic order 219. Is this a story about feminism? 219 in 2019. Perhaps it is. The 93 in reduction is always something to look out for. This is the number of propaganda. 93, alphabetic order. Without her middle name, here's a 130, which is again our ritual hoax code as we often see it. So this was in Ohio, Sylvania Northview High School, 341 in ordinal. Sylvania also with the 103. So I know we looked at a lot of things there, but you're talking about the number 13 being a significant ritual number. Noor Abu Karam 130, Sylvania 103, and this is the main cipher, the alphabetic order. Also the 113 in reverse. Never overlook that. The number of bullshit. So this is a story about cross country. This does sum to 190. And we mentioned feminism equals 219. Also remember female equals 67, the 19th prime number. Oh, Oh man, I had this phrase popped into my head, cultural equality. I'm like, "Oh, that's 219, isn't it?" And I was wrong, it's 218. We got Jerry Flowers, the coach. Well, you'd certainly like to think that she'd be allowed to run with her hijab. It doesn't seem like much of an advantage, does it? Why? Because her hair isn't flowing wildly behind her? What city in Ohio is this, anyway? What if we go to maps? Sylvania, Ohio. Okay. So the name of the city makes even more sense. So it's not just Sylvania Northview, it's also in Sylvania, Ohio. So the 103 absolutely applies. Just like Noor Abu Karam, the name. I'm going to hang on this 13 because this is the biggest riddle I can find here. Oh, look at that. 310 in reduction for CNN, just like Sylvania equals 31. Wow, okay. What about Sylvania, Ohio? Put myself back on the screen there. Aha, look at the Gematria of Sylvania, Ohio. Remember the coach was Jerry Flowers? 174, 66. 150, Sylvania, Ohio, 150. So the coach of the team has matching Gematria with the city. That's cool. What was hijab again? So hijab is 30. And remember the 30th prime number is 113, which is also the Gematria of Sylvania. So that makes sense. Bobby points out, too, that cross country equals 55, and today is the 55th day of the Islamic year. Oh, cross country 190. Oh, I pointed that out, yeah. All right. What else can we look at? Fox News is always interesting. If anybody has any stories that they want me to take a look at, please feel free to drop a comment in the chat. I find that these stories are always coded, ones that have to do with transgendered children. And of course, today has 53 numerology, standard numerology. Transgender equals 53. This story published 3 hours ago. So already, once again, another transgender story on a date with 53 numerology. Ooh. Judge Kim Cooks dropping the hammer on Jeff Younger and Anne Georgoulis, or Gorgoulis. Huh. Goes by the name Luna. Well, that's interesting. Of course, that's the Latin name for the moon. So you got to think there's going to be a moon riddle here with this story. Where in Texas is this? Does it really say? Must have gone to like state courts or something. Dallas Rainbow Therapy. Can you believe this shit? Puberty blockers. For a little kid. Puberty blockers messing with a kid's hormone. Just can you imagine that? Using your kid as a little science experiment? Oh, man. It's frightening. The name James is a 33, just for the record. The name Kim Cooks, the judge, equals 33. Jeff Younger and let me see here. Yeah, I'm not really sure what else to decode on this story other than that there's a transgender equals 53. 20 or 10 plus 24 plus 19 equals 53. There's always going to be more to it. Nice. Other than that, it's a pretty slow news day. Hey, guys. While I'm on, before we go, I just want to touch on the numerology of... Wait, I did talk about Willie Brown. I talked a little bit about the death of Camille Cupcake McKinney, but not a whole lot. There was another 666 riddle in this. I urge you to check the post out. Again, I'll link these below after the video's over. Recently this week, I also did a post on the Las Vegas shooting. I haven't really done much work on this particular topic since I did my videos on that back, the week after the shooting occurred. These videos are actually on my backup channel, which is under my real name. Now, the Las Vegas shooting, to me, is obviously being one of the biggest false flag attacks in American history, was one of the most coded events, one of the most obviously coded events, I think, in history. And it all has to do with the Mandalay Bay, the casino itself. And I believe wholeheartedly, just like the Twin Towers were built with the knowledge that they would one day be brought down 33 years after groundbreaking, it seems obvious that whoever was in charge of constructing and opening the Mandalay Bay at its location had some sort of knowledge that, or of what would occur in 2017 at the Las Vegas shooting. And it all has to do with the gematria of the word casino. The word casino has gematria of 61 in the alphabetic order. And Mandalay Bay opened on March 2nd of 1999, which is the 61st day of the year. Notice how this leaves 304 days in the year. And March 2nd is the date that leaves, casino equals 34 with the S exception. Now on the date 10/1, which was the date of the shooting, October 1st, remember the word assassin also equals 101 in ordinal. On that date, 10/1, 2017, Mandalay Bay turned exactly 223 months old. The word casino equals 223 in English gematria. 223 is the 48th prime number. And the date of the shooting at the casino had primary numerology of 48. Also notice how casino equals 193 in Jewish gematria. This is another prime number, the 44th. And in that same cipher, the name of the shooter from the casino, Stephen Paddock, sums to 440. October 1st was the 274th day of the year. Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino, in the alphabetic order, equals 274. In reduction, it sums to 103, which, of course, in numerology represents the number 13. Stephen Paddock allegedly had the number 13 tattooed on his neck. The city of Las Vegas equals 130, again like the number 13 in reverse. Now 13 is the only number that sums to 99 in the alphabetic order. Stephen Paddock was born on April 9th, I believe 1964, maybe 54. I think he was in his 60s. So this must have been, 53. So he's born on the 99th day of the year, just like how the number 13 in ordinal equals 99. And he fired, allegedly, from the Mandalay Bay, which is 99. Also interesting that Wikipedia tells us that he killed 58 and injured 851, which is a total of 909 casualties. If you include the death of Stephen Paddock into this tally, it's 910. And this is the Route 91 Music Festival. So the number 13 gets a number of tributes here. The 13th prime is 41, like Las Vegas, 41 in reduction with the S exception. This happened 41 days after the eclipse. The name Stephen Craig Paddock equals the 41st prime number in the alphabetic order. So this was at the Route 91 festival. He fired from the 32nd floor. This was also the date leaving 91 days in the year. Now, earlier we saw the casino turned 223 months old. Well, this is also 18 years and 7 months. Harvest Festival equals 187. Now, this was in Las Vegas, but it was actually technically in Paradise, Nevada, which is the name of the unincorporated village just south of Las Vegas that all the casinos can dodge their taxes in. And Paradise, Nevada equals 1001. The sheriff of LVMPD, Joe Lombardo, was in his 1001st day in office. And Paradise and Las Vegas Village both have Gematria matches with sacrifice and ritual sacrifice. All sorts of alignments here. I'm going to put this post down below also, because this post is amazing. This thing is so coded. I also mentioned the mayor of Las Vegas. So we'll talk about this, and yeah. I'm going to be covering this a little bit on my appearance next week. So, last month at Anarchadelphia, I met a number of other speakers there. And one of them was Jason Goodman. And I reached out to Jason. Actually, he reached out to me first. And I'm trying to find this guy's YouTube channel. So I met Jason there, and Jason's got a lot of subscribers on his channel. He's got about 85,000. And I originally found this guy's work when I was doing, well, research and, just looking into the Las Vegas shooting. So Jason was there as part of the media panel and ended up meeting him, had dinner there. He said he was really interested in my presentation, thought it was really fascinating. So as a result of that, he's going to have me on his show, or on his channel, do some sort of live stream next week. And, a couple people mentioned stuff about Jason Goodman, saying he's controlled op or whatever. And look, first of all, I give everyone the benefit of the doubt. So, until someone gives me a reason to say so, I'm not going to talk nasty about him. Because I'm not into the whole investigation. That's for other people to do and talk smack about. The way I see it, if someone's interested in this and wants to help me share this knowledge, then the rest doesn't matter, right? I mean, if Alex Jones wanted to have me on his show to talk about Gematria, I'd do it, in a heartbeat. So for me, there's no reason not to. I don't see any negative that could really be in it, especially since we can just, look at the basic numerology of things that he's already covered. And, I think it'll be interesting. And again, when you get on the internet and you start speaking truth, no matter who you are or what you're doing, someone's going to call you a shill. And it wasn't, until people started calling me a shill where it was like, it dawned on me that, okay, a lot of these people aren't shills. So maybe he's not, And he did vote for Trump. He does talk a lot of politics and stuff like that. And, I'm big into talking about how those are a charade, and that's maybe a disagreement we could have. But, he's coming into this recently, too, so maybe he's still waking up. Like I said, I try to give people the benefit of the doubt. Either way, if they want to help me spread the word, then great. If he starts attacking Gematria, then that's one thing, but all the impressions I got is that it's something he was interested in, wanted to help understand a little bit more and talk about. So, we'll mainly be looking at the main primary ciphers and all that good stuff, but so look out for that next week. I guess I'll mention that again when it comes up. And then, there's a couple other people I met there. I didn't spend as much time with as many people as I wanted to. Oops. At that conference since I had to leave early, but, it can't hurt to make more connections, so I love it. And I love the comments comparing Alex Jones and Bill Hicks. One of the most fascinating conspiracy theories out there, right? Gotta love it. I tell you what, guys, I'm going to actually end the live stream there. Someone had a question about Greta Thunberg. Sue, okay, so someone asked about emails. Sue sent me an emails. She said she sent me 2 but never got a reply. So I'm caught up on emails now. I actually went a long time without responding to all of them. They got a little bit overwhelming, and I stopped doing them. I haven't got as many recently, maybe because I haven't been putting my email up. But I do want to point out that you can email me again. Try again. What's interesting is that when I go into my email, it tells me I have 65 unread messages, but when I go there, they're not there. I don't have 65 messages I haven't read. So I think there might have been some lost at a certain time. I've gone through several hard drives in the past couple years, especially over the past, 1 year in particular. I'm on my 4th now. So I've had all sorts of issues with this technology garbage, and some of these emails might have gotten lost. So if I haven't replied to you, either you sent a really, really terrible email or it got lost in the shuffle. I apologize for that. As far as Zach, he's had many deleted channels. I know he's got a new channel somewhere. He's still got his sports channel as far as I know. Haven't been keeping up a whole lot myself recently. I guess I'll have to do a video on Greta Thunberg sometime, but I like how Greta Thunberg equals 70 just like Sweden. And she's big on climate change. 70. Shout out to Zenith who dropped in and gave his kind words. It's always nice, especially from the brilliant producers who are out there sharing this knowledge as well. If you're not subscribed to Zenith of the Alphas, check the chat and click on that guy's name and subscribe to his channel. All right, guys, I got to get some food. I got to eat something, man. It's funny how many calories you actually burn when you're talking, believe it or not. All this stuff about circles is insane. All right, guys, have a good night. We'll talk to you later. Let's do this again sometime. I think it was fun. Maybe if I schedule this ahead of time, I'll get more viewers live. We're up to 40, which is pretty good. We've been steady for most of this broadcast, so that's pretty cool. Thanks again, guys. Hope you enjoyed that track at the beginning. If you're interested on it, it's an old group called Austin TV. It's like some Mexican post-rock, math rock, progressive. It's awesome. I don't know. I like it. Cool, guys. Have a good night, everyone. Hope I made sense. Peace, love, and God bless. See ya!